The NFC Central match between the Vikings and the Packers at Lambeau Field in Green Bay. It's very windy, John, and I think that's going to have some sort of an effect before we're through.
Well, especially on the kicking game. Yeah, we saw that in the pregame warm-up. There was no such thing as a punter punting a spiral. They were all punt and wobblers. But I'll tell you, it's going to be windy and it's going to be noisy. This crowd is a great football crowd.
Brett Favre, the trigger of the Green Bay offense. We mentioned earlier that he has a bad thumb, but it seems to be, well, he said yesterday it's about 75%. Those of you who saw Kansas City beat Detroit 31-21, welcome to Lambeau Field, and we're just about underway here. Ray Rhodes, the Green Bay coach, his first year. Across the way, Denny Green. And the Packers have won the toss. Mitch Berger will kick off. And the ball we mentioned is very windy, so the ball is blowing off the tee, so somebody has to hold it. And that usually cuts down on the distance of the kicks. Basil Mitchell for the Packers to the 22. Let's check out that Green Bay offense, led by Brett Favre, his 112th consecutive start, and that's remarkable. Verba, Wall, Winters, Rivera, and Dotson. Dotson playing very well. Dorsey Levens, William Henderson, the two runners, Schrader, Freeman, and Davis, the three receivers. Davis in place of Mark Chmura, who yesterday was placed on the inactive list, out for the rest of the year. Three wide receivers they start off with. Four actually are split. Favre drops to throw it. And drops it off to Levens. And let's look at the Vikings defense. The front four, Dwayne Clemens, John Randall, Williams, and John Burrow. Dwayne Rudd at McDaniel in the middle, and Corey Miller. And the secondary, Hitchcock and Ramos McDonald, the corners, Orlando Thomas and Robert Griffith, who makes a lot of tackles. The two safeties. Second and 8. Favre again drops. Minnesota blitz, and Favre started to turn out of the pocket and turned right into Dwayne Clemens.
And Clemens was up the field on Ross Verba. Verba was blocking him. And as you say, as Favre spins out there, he's going to spin right in here. You're going to see him. Clemens is going to come up the field. Favre goes here. When he gets to get out of the rush, they want to pressure him, as we said, up the middle, get him out of the pocket, then have those ends come up the field. Now, when he scrambles and goes like that, they want a defensive end standing right there, just like Dwayne Clemens was.
Verba actually had a decent block, but Favre spun right into it.
And that's the way the Vikings are playing their defense. Pressure up the middle, defensive end, stay outside.
Favre drops again. Fires outside, first down. Schrader. A strike from Favre.
Well, I think you used keyword too. He fired. He was on the far hash mark. Now, that's about as far as you have to throw the ball. You're going to see Schrader is out here. Schrader is going to run it out. You see, he comes up, then he's going to run to the outside right there. The ball is in the air already.
Oh, yeah.
And he fired that, and as I said, he fired it from the far hash mark, which puts it all the way across the field. And you talk about wind or no one, that ball had mustard on it. Like those
Schrader ran
it down there.
Excuse me, John. Schrader ran a very good pattern. First and 10, Green Bay at their own 36. Favre again to the air. Incomplete this time. Intended for Freeman. Brett Favre's hand, as we mentioned before, was injured, and look at that.
Well, you look at the thing, and this, I guess, is just from artificial. Looked ugly, but where the problem is right here in the thumb, and you can see, well, if you compare it to the other thumb, like he showed us yesterday, it is swollen. But again, I watched practice on Thursday and Friday and Saturday, and it didn't affect him at all.
Well, last week he didn't practice during the week. This week he practiced every day.
He didn't practice on Wednesday and Thursday, and you could see it on Sunday.
Dorsey Levens gets the carry at the line of scrimmage. by Ed McDaniel.
Yeah, we talk about, how Robert Griffith is always up there, the strong safety. The two other guys are Ed McDaniel and Dwayne Rudd. They're all over the place. And now we see Chris Dolman coming in. Chris Dolman played for the 49ers, remember the last few years, retired. The Minnesota Vikings just signed him this week. He's going to play in nickel. And Chris Dolman for years, he's in his 15th year in the league, but he's always been a good pass rusher. The Vikings need a pass rusher, and they're going to use him this whole game in that situation. Put John Randall at the other defensive end.
Dolman got away from Furban. Favre scrambled forward, throws up the field. It's batted away, deflected.
I think he hit Dwayne Rudd, the linebacker, right in the face with it.
He did.
He's rolling out, and they got pretty good pressure on it. And Rudd was just playing out there, and I think Brett Favre just fired him, hit him right in the head. Darn near knocked his hat right off.
That's exactly what happened. What's this?
This is something. He's getting pressure up there, and you're going to see Rudd come out there, and he just goes boom, and he just hits him right in the face with it. Well, we don't have it on the television, but it was a good shot in the head.
Aguilar's punt is a good one. It bounces down inside the 5 to about the 2 where the Packers cover. And Minnesota will start deep in their own territory. Todd McBride was down to recover it at the 2. Aguilar got off a kick a lot better than any he did last week. 57 yards. Nothing in the first. Back in Green Bay, and it's been a beautiful weekend. Nothing. It's sold out Lambeau. They move the ball back up to the 6-yard line where it was first touched by the Packers. 1st and 10 at their own 6 for Minnesota. Randall Cunningham. Robert Smith. Stopped by Bernardo Harris. Let's look at this Viking offense. Led by Randall Cunningham, I'm sorry. 6-1 record as a starter. In front of him, a veteran offensive line, Stussy, McDaniel, Christie, Dixon, and Stringer. Robert Smith, runner of the runners. Randy Moss, Chris Carter, Jake Reed, and Andrew Glover, the tight end. Smith, near a first down. And let's have a look at Green Bay's defensive unit. The front 4, Vonnie Holiday, Gilbert Brown, Billy Lyons starting in place of Santana, Dotson, and Booker. Brian Williams, Harris, and Kuntz, the 3 linebackers. And in the secondary, Tyrone Williams, Sharper, Leroy Butler, and Mike McKenzie, the rookie. Took him in the 3rd round.
And he is an impressive kid, isn't he?
Yes, he is. Smith at the line of scrimmage by Bernardo Harris.
Yeah, we talked about Mike McKenzie, and we said earlier that the Green Bay Packers, as a result of what happened to them last year, went out and in the first 3 rounds they drafted defensive backs. And they drafted that guy there, number 34. He was the 3rd of the 3.
Yep.
And he turned out playing the best of the 3. He's the starting left corner. And on the first 2 plays, and this play too, he's lined up out there on Randy Moss.
Jude Waddy checks into the defense. Cunningham put to the Carter. First down and more with some room. Tyrone Williams finally wrestled him down. They tried to blitz.
Yep, and they were doubling on the other side, and they went to this side on Tyrone Williams. You can see what the Packers did, and again, it was a result of this Minnesota Viking offense. Antoine Edwards was first, Fred Vinson was second, and Mike McKenzie, who's the starting left corner, was the 3rd.
1st and 10, Minnesota at the 40. They hand to Smith. They want to try to run the ball, but try is all they can do at the moment. Bernardo Harris again made the stop.
Well, last night we were talking to Dennis Green. He was calling Gilbert Brown a space eater.
Yep.
And Gilbert Brown is a space eater, and it's hard to run at the space eater.
He eats more than space.
You got to run by or around or something, but you can't run right at a space eater.
Unless you have a space eater yourself, and the Vikings do.
Well, he's on the space eater now. We got a space eater on a space eater.
And that's an immovable object.
And Gilbert won that battle.
Yes, he did.
David Dixon is a right guard of the Minnesota Vikings. He weighs 150 pounds. Big Gilbert. Gilbert's fired up, man. This is why. Now, here's 350 pounds. Here's about 370 pounds. Now, watch what over 700 pounds of collision happens. Gilbert gets underneath that. They look like two sumo wrestlers. He gets underneath that, and there is no hole there. David Dixon didn't get any movement at all on big old Gilbert Brown.
Give Clevius Hunt, the rookie, an assist. Leroy Horde is the deep back. Cunningham throws quickly in that slot. This is to Jake Reed, and he'll have another first down deep in Packer territory. Brian Williams.
Well, see what they did is they put Randy Moss on the other side, and that time they put Randy Moss and Chris Carter on the other side, Jake Reed on this side, and they get inside on Tyrone Williams. You see over here, here's Randy Moss, here's Chris Carter. Now that's what they have on that side, so they're doubling here. So now back on this side, on Jake Reed, you're going to have single coverage.
And a lot of room.
Right, and a lot of room, and that's the second time that he hit that same slant pattern.
Two tight ends now for the Vikings. Cunningham looks. Caught by Carter. Carter inside the 10 where it'll be first and goal, Minnesota. Leroy Butler.
Well, I was just saying they've gone to work over there on Tyrone Williams. They talk about all the rookies. Tyrone Williams, the fourth-year corner over here. They've had about 60 yards of offense on him so far. Now watch Randall Cunningham. He's going to go to play fake, look to the right, fake to the right, and then come back to the left. And that was that fade stop where you're running the fade or the up and you just stop.
Leroy.
Here, see he's going and he just stops. They throw that one short.
Horde, the deep back. Gets the carry. Tries to get outside. There's nothing there. Leroy Butler with a lot of help from Gilbert Brown. And here's the Vikings have really struggled down here, and the field goal kicker has been missing once they got down here.
That's the thing we were talking about earlier. You know, when you watch the Vikings this year, they've moved the ball.
Yeah.
I mean, they've been running it a little, they've been passing it, and then they get down here and something happens. They'll get a penalty, they get a turnover, they get stopped on third down, have a field goal block. Those kinds of things are stopping them more than the defenses.
Carter's in the slot outside of Moss. And Randy Moss is wrapped up. Sharper.
Randy Moss is something. He's one of the most exciting. He's the most exciting, not one of the most exciting. He's the most exciting player in the NFL today. We were talking to him last night. He said, that practice is okay, but he said he just looks forward to playing. He loves to play the game.
And you can see how strong he is. He looks stringy, but he's strong to go with it.
Well, watch those moves that he had there. I mean, first of all, he started to go a spin, and he said, well, that spin stuff doesn't work. Let's go for a little power here.
Leroy Horde, the lone setback. Cunningham, incomplete, intended for Carter. There's the flag. He had his hand up.
That was on Darren Sharper. They were trying to run that slant again, and they got inside, and Sharper was helping Ty. And it's going to be number 42, Sharper, that they're going to call that one on.
Johnny
Pass interference, number 42, defense, in the end zone. The ball will be placed at the 1-yard line. First down.
Yeah, it's going to be that same pattern. You're going to see Carter coming here, and here's Sharper here who's helping. You see they got the double on. He gets by Williams, and Sharper just grabs him right there as the ball's in the air. And watch after the play when they go, this is a way that football players talk to each other. I think that's the definition. I hate that word in your face, but I think that's a definition of it right there.
I don't want any part of it, I know that. Cunningham back. End zone for Carter again, incomplete. And no flag. And Sharper standing over Carter, signaling incomplete.
Well, Sharper's one of the talkers too, and this, when you get a rivalry, and this is a rivalry because same division, two teams. Vikings won both of them last year. No one beats the Packers here in Lambeau, but the Vikings did last year. You're going to have a lot of this stuff going on, a lot of talking, a lot of those kinds of things.
Second and goal at the 1. Horde. The players signaled touchdown, but no official signaled yet. As they come in from both sides, nobody in the striped shirt has put up their arm.
No, and look where they spot the ball. If the ball breaks the plane, that is about as close as you can get. If the football breaks the plane of the goal line, it's a touchdown. So the key is, where is the football? And they spotted it about right on the 1-inch line.
Now, how do they know where it is? I see it looks like it's over the goal line right there.
Well, look where it's spotted here, and they got that much to go.
But 2 inches.
A good center will get you a little on that, too. He'll move the ball up a little for you.
Well, the Vikings have a good one. Cunningham for the scrambling, and Cunningham is taken down at the 4 and knocked back to about the 6. He didn't get in either.
And these are the types of things that happen to the Minnesota Vikings this year. It's just the consistency. They get down there, Horde doesn't get in. They try and run a quarterback sneak, and Cunningham didn't have any place to go. There's George Kuntz there. He has a little extracurricular activity.
With Todd Stussy.
But that was very, very good goal line defense. And the Packers played that one great.
And now a late flag has appeared. So we'll see. The Vikings might get another chance.
It was funny. Randall Cunningham was talking about taking snaps from centers and fumbling snaps. Remember last week he fumbled a snap, and he said the toughest ones are when the center's pulling. That's what happened last week. And the other one, he said, is a quarterback sneak, because the center has to fire out, and you as a quarterback have to take the ball, move back a little, and find a hole.
Here's Johnny Greer is going to tell us what about the flag. It's a long time before it was dropped.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 53 of the defense. We have a first down.
George Kuntz.
Well, remember, we had a shot of George Kuntz, and he was the guy that was in there. It was about one of him and 4 or 5 Minnesota Vikings. And that is a gift for the Minnesota Vikings.
Boy, is it. An emotional lift and gift. I don't know how you call that on him.
I don't either. You see, it's the old thing. Who starts it? Here's Randall Cunningham on the quarterback sneak. Look at his eyes right there. That is trying to find a hole, and when your eyes look like that, that means there is no hole.
And you're behind David Dixon.
And there's no place to go.
No place to go. That's an emotional lift.
And if George Kuntz would have just quit right there, it would have been okay.
I don't know how they call that penalty against him.
I don't know that they saw what Todd Stussy did.
I don't think they did. Here's Horde again. And Leroy Horde scored.
And a great block by Todd Stussy. I mean, that was Leroy Horde ran right in there. Again, this is good goal line blocking this time. The left tackle, Todd Stussy, takes his guy to the inside, and Horde just runs right off him.
The Vikings already had their field goal unit on the field. They thought they had been stopped. And Gary Anderson came out with the holder, Todd Berger. Mitch Berger, I'm sorry. So the Vikings, with some help, take the 7-0 lead. Vikings lead 7-0, 4:20 left in the first. It's been a game of intimidation.
Well, this is a rivalry game, and these are the kinds of things that you see in a rivalry game at the beginning. I mean, they're always going to do. There's always the talking, the grabbing, the pushing, the headbutting, all those types of things. You see them more in the rivalry games and more in this division, I think, than any other division.
Well, it's been that way for a long time.
Well, they have some great rivalries here. Not that some of that stuff we just saw is great. I mean, I don't think there's a need for a lot of that stuff.
Favre back to throw it. Has time. Henderson, the receiver. Got just a couple. Dwayne Rudd out to make the stop.
I've always believed that you play from the time the ball snapped till the whistle blows, and you just go back to the huddle and then get ready for the next play.
Well, I remember Denny Green saying the key to success of your season is you have to control the play within your division. And that's what the Vikings did last year, and that's what they're trying to establish again this year.
Now, there's an old veteran center. Now watch the things he does. Frank Winters there. Watch how many times he moves that ball. He can align that defense just the way he wants it.
11 to the left. And not much doing.
It's interesting after you go over to the sideline now. They have so many things there that's Vonnie Holliday, the right defensive end of the Packers, and they have so many things that they can help you with. I mean, they have pictures. You see the pictures the coach just picked up. They got the blackboard. They got books of stuff. I mean, they have so many teaching aids on the sideline that they do between series.
Favre back to throw it. Has a man up the middle. He's got a first down. It's Antonio Freeman. He knows how to find the open spots. And they lost a guy. Mark Chmura, who knew how to find those open spots as well.
And, you know, Mark Chmura was not only Brett Favre's go-to guy, but was also his best friend. And I think that as he gets on the football field, I think that Antonio Freeman is going to be that guy.
Yeah, I think there's Chmura.
Yeah, they just put him on IR yesterday, which is injured reserve, which means that he is out for the entire season.
Dolman has come in to the Minnesota defense. He's the right defensive end. 11 crosses the 40, hit by Orlando Thomas.
Now taking Mark Chmura's place is Tyrone Davis, and he's not the blocker that Chmura was.
Who is? Schrader's number 84. That's Orlando Thomas coming up to make the stop with Dwayne Rudd helping.
He was a cover 2 safety. When the safety is back off, when he's going to help deep, and he's going to get up there later on the run.
Favre, screen pass, 11. Got 2 blockers in front. Out of bounds at the Minnesota 43. Orlando Thomas knocked him out of bounds.
You know, Dorsey Levens is an amazing guy, isn't he? I mean, you just watch him. Remember a couple years ago when he got hurt, but when he's not hurt, he's a guy that seems to get in the game more and get stronger as the game goes on. I mean, he can not only run the ball, but he's a heck of a receiver.
Yep.
Coming out of the backfield or even on the line, I think he's one of the better receiving backs in all of football.
Got great hands.
But he gets better as the game goes on. He'll be stronger and more productive in the 3rd and 4th quarter than he is in the 1st and 2nd.
There he is again. Picking a hole and getting a few. Maybe up to the 40. Or
You know,
down
one
to the
thing
40.
is, if you're going to run, if you're going to play against the Minnesota Vikings, you have to get this guy taken care of. You have to get John Randall taken care of. And you see what they do. They start with Marco Rivera and Earl Dotson, and they double team. And then when you have them going, you stay with them. And when you're going against John Randall, you don't stop.
He's not going to stop.
Running because you know that he doesn't stop.
Favre by Schrader to the 15, the 10, and out of bounds at about the Minnesota 4 by Hitchcock.
This is a guy that the Packers are expecting big things of, Bill Schrader. He's one of the fastest guys on the team. You know, we talk about Antonio Freeman. He'll be a go-to, a control guy. This guy, Schrader, is going to be their big play guy now. Just a few years ago, he was playing in NFL Europe. And you watch him here. I mean, he takes a crossing pattern here. Now, at this point right here, you know he can run.
Yep.
Because you see instant separation, and that is usually caused by great speed.
37 yards on the play. And that's going to be the end of the 1st quarter with the score: the Vikings 7, the Packers nothing. Fox NFL Sunday from Lambeau Field will continue after these messages. Ready to start the 2nd quarter at Lambeau Field. Minnesota 7, Green Bay nothing, but the Packers with 1st and goal at the 4.
Brett Favre's 4 for 4 on his run at that. This is typical Brett Favre. When you line up the quarterbacks in this league and say who's the best, I think you put that guy right on top.
You say you're going to start a franchise. What do you do? What's your first player? Who's your first player? I think number 4.
Hey, Ron Wolf. getting Brett Favre from the Atlanta Falcons was the smartest thing he's ever done in his life.
And you know him well.
As an administrator, I'm talking about.
Yeah. Now he moves Tyrone Davis.
Gotta watch Tyrone Davis.
Yep. Incomplete. It was intended for Corey Bradford.
And the fans want to pass interference down here. It seems like every time you get something in the end zone now, they're looking for pass interference. But it's interesting. The Packers were first down. They go 3 wide receivers. You see Corey Bradford come to the inside. Jimmy Hitchcock, I think, did bump him before the ball got there. I think those fans were right.
I think they were.
Pretty good official.
Second and goal. 11. Touchdown. Flag on the play. A flag on the play.
It's going to be holding against the Packers, and that's why you hear the crowd started to cheer, and then they could see that penalty, and it'll be holding against the Packers.
Holding. 52. Offense.
Frank Winters.
Still second down.
The center.
Yeah, and that's what an old wily veteran center will get you. I mean, he knows how to position. He knows how to get a hand in there. That's a tough block, that onside block. I'll tell you, when you have to block to that side, and you have to reach out there, sometimes that's the only way you can block it. And you look, that's John Randall.
Yep.
Now, he's not blocking backside or offside the side away. He's blocking to the side of the play against one of the quickest defensive linemen in football.
That was a little bit past Wiley.
Yeah, but that was pretty good. That was the only way he
That's the only way to make the block.
I would have done that. Anyone else would have done that that had to.
Dolman in at right defensive end. Quickly, incomplete. Hitchcock again on Schrader.
I'll tell you, Jimmy Hitchcock's playing that a lot better than Tyrone Williams did on the other side. It's that same pattern. It's that slant pattern, and he's getting a little jump on it right there. Watch, here's Jimmy Hitchcock here. Now, Bill Schrader's going to come in, and he's going to run a slant. Start there and right into the inside. And you see what Hitchcock did? He went in there, and he cut him off. He took away his slant angle, because he was not only reading Bill Schrader, but he was also reading Brett Favre. And he ran and beat him to the collision point.
Ray Rhodes anxiously looking on. Henderson in motion. It's 11 at the 10, where he's wrapped up by Dwayne Rudd. And the Packers are going to have to settle for a field goal. Favre is saying Hitchcock interfered with my guy.
Yeah, he was saying that he bumped him, but I think Hitchcock was going for the ball. I think that was a good read by Jimmy Hitchcock.
The one before, he might have cut
the one, the one down in the end zone. I think he did when the fans booed. I think he was right on one, and I think Jimmy Hitchcock was okay in the other one.
Ryan Longwell is perfect this year so far. To put the Packers on the board, and he does. And so it's 7-3 in the second quarter at Lambeau Field, a 29-yarder. What are you looking at, John?
Well, what I do between plays, I just look at the crowd just to see who's there. Look what I see here.
That's the cast from that 70s show enjoying the game here at Lambeau today. A new night coming up for them Tuesday night.
You know, and they were up here. Remember last year they were at one of the games we did. It was in San Francisco. And I told them to do something, and they did some push-ups. This time they come up here.
I think they stopped.
Well, they got a little bicep going there.
2 tight ends set up for Minnesota. This is Smith. Right now, for an update, let's return to James Brown in Los Angeles.
Hey, Pat, take a look at the two teams going right at each other. Rich Gannon for the Oakland Raiders fires one to Tim Brown. Score Raiders after a big punt return. Make that kickoff return by Milburn. Shane Matthews comes back and finds Curtis Conway. We're all tied at 7 in Oakland in the second. Back to Pat and John.
At Lambeau Field, it's 7-3 Minnesota. Over Green Bay, second and 7. At their own 28. Smith. Robert Smith. First down, Vikings. Darren Sharper had to make the tackle.
I tell you, you get some good blocks over there from his left side from Randall McDaniel and Todd Stussy. I mean, if you're going to run, this is still the place to run. Get behind Randall McDaniel and Todd Stussy right here. See Stussy make the block. Now watch McDaniel there. Stay with his guy, stay with his guy, stay with his guy. And Robert Smith just runs right by him. You got to get on your block quickly, move your feet, stay low, and stay with the block.
1st and 10. Pressure got him. It's a new move. That's Vaughn Booker. He's been playing well.
He's been playing very well. They didn't think that he'd be a starter this year, and then they moved him and moved him and moved him, and he just ended up just beating out everyone. And you see what he does to Corey Springer there. He just starts up inside like he's going to bull rush him, and then takes that inside move on him. Corey Springer had a bad knee. He's wearing a new brace on it. They didn't know this week if he would play. They decided that Friday he'd be okay, but he had trouble with Vaughn Booker on that last pass protection.
Chris Carter in the slot. Cunningham hits Jake Reed, the outside receiver.
You know, that's the thing that, you know, with Randy Moss being on the other side. Then you can put Jake Reed on this side with Chris Carter. Now you realize Randy Moss is on the other side, but everyone is giving him a cushion. They're giving him off. If you're going to double or roll to one side, then there has to be single someplace. The single will not be on this guy. Jake Reed will find it quite a bit, and so will Randall Cunningham.
Jake Reed covered by the rookie Antoine Edwards. Cunningham looking. And complete. Intended for Jake Reed, who was either pushed down or fell down.
Antoine Edwards, you know, he didn't even get his hands up there, but the ball did hit him on the arm. Jake Reed fell down. They're using a dime package here. Antoine Edwards, watch him. He comes in here. He has pretty good position. And then watch it. The ball just hit him right in the arm.
Yep.
But he's still looking up for
Where is it? In any case, Mitch Berger is going to punt for Minnesota. Desmond Howard deep. Line drive, kickoff. Howard watches it sail over his head and out of the end zone. And so the Packers will take over at their own 20. They trail Minnesota 7-3. The Fox NFL Sunday pregame show will be live from Dallas for a battle in the NFC East as the Arizona Cardinals clash with the Dallas Cowboys, plus other regional action. All starts at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific right here on Fox. Check your local listing. That's next week. Deion Sanders expected to play, expected to come back at cornerback. Dallas swept the series and the division. Last year, Dorsey Levens gets the carry and picks up nothing. Dwayne Clemens on the stop.
Yeah, we were talking earlier about the penalties of the Packers. You look at this, a roughing penalty. That led to a Minnesota touchdown.
Yep.
Remember, they had him stopped on the quarterback sneak. Then they score and have a holding penalty, and the ball is brought back. And then they eventually got a field goal out of that. So, first part of this game, those penalties have really hurt the Packers.
Now it's 2nd and 11. Throwing down for Brett Favre. Fakes to Levin, steps up, and throws straight in. First down. Listen to Frank Winter. You talk about the penalties.
Slick move.
I didn't hear what he said, did you? Well, I think Frank's wrong. I don't think it was a bad call.
No. He had to do that. I mean, that was a reach block. You technically call a reach block, and Frank physically reached.
Favre drops. Tosses to Levens, wide open. A lot of room. A first down in Minnesota territory.
And we were talking about who's going to take the place of Mark Chmura, you know, as a go-to guy, the guy that when you look around and you can't find anything else, who do you find? It could very well be Dorsey Levens. See, Brett Favre is looking to the right. In fact, he throws, he brings the ball back. Dorsey Levens comes underneath on a cross. He finds him late, and then he gets him off the hook.
It's amazing what he sees.
And then being able to do something.
Being able to get it there.
To see the guy, and then whatever that thing is, to get it to him quickly.
Looking again and going deep. Incomplete, and Corey Bradford was the intended receiver. Good defense by Jimmy Hitchcock again.
You know, they got Joe Andruzzi in there now. The Packers use 2 left guards. They start with Mike Wall and Joe Andruzzi's number 70, the guy that they were, that they thought was going to be the starter, had an injured knee, and they're working him back in there, and he's doing a pretty good job of pass protecting.
Another one of those guys that played in Europe.
Yeah, right. I mean, they have 3 or 4 guys that played in that NFL Europe.
Yep.
You know, when you got a guy like Tyrone Davis, who's number 81, and he can run, and you're covering him, you can't run as fast as he can, you grab a little cloth.
Henderson on 2nd and 10. An unexpected gallop by William Henderson.
I think anytime they give the ball to William Henderson, I think that is unexpected gallop. Because you're keying on Dorsey Levens, you're keying on Brett Favre. You're saying he's going to have the ball. Favre comes back and he just dishes it off to Henderson, and Henderson hits it right up the middle. Everyone is watching Favre. They're rushing the passer. They say worry about Dorsey Levens and all those things. Boom, there goes old William Henderson.
3rd and 1. You see that yellow line as Levens is knocked backwards, regains his balance, and loses yardage after all that.
I think
Dwayne Rudd and Robert Griffiths.
I was going to say, I think Dorsey Levens saw that yellow line, and I think the Minnesota Vikings protected against that yellow line better.
And you know, the thing is, they can't see it. They can't see the yellow line.
But they know exactly where it is, though. They know where that yellow line is. They have to get to that yellow line. You wonder why, though, on 3rd down that they call, a running play, because Brett Favre is so effective and so sharp and has so many guys. And the Minnesota Vikings, if they have a weakness, it's really their pass defense.
Especially a wide play like that. Palmer signaled fair catch and made it right at the 10-yard line. Vikings take over at their own 10, leading 7-3. So goes head-to-head with Mark McGuire. Plus other games of playoff interest. It's the final weekend of the regular season on the Fox Saturday Baseball Game of the Week. Minnesota ball.
Minnesota's only thrown 1 ball so far to Randy Moss.
The handoff is to Smith, and there's nothing doing. And let's go right now for an update to James Brown in Los Angeles.
Pat John Oakland trying to be the surprise of the AFC West inside the 20, but Napoleon Kaufman coughs it up. Chicago's defense doing the job there. It still remains 7-0 in Oakland. Back to Pat Summerall and John Madden.
And we're at Lambeau Field in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Historic Lambeau, 2nd and 9.
This crowd here is trying to help their defense right now.
Cunningham drops. Throws. Incomplete. Intended for Andrew Glover, the tight end.
I was just saying earlier that they've only thrown so far to Randy Moss 1 time, and I don't know that the field position is real good for it now, but I think you never want to force the ball. I mean, that's a rule of football and quarterbacks and passing game and all that, and I believe that. Except I think Randy Moss is the exception. I think sometimes it's okay to force it for Randy Moss.
I think you got to get him the ball. Leroy Hoard's the deep back. Cunningham. Incomplete. Intended for Jake Reed. Nothing doing.
Good defense by Tyrone Williams. I mean, he ran right down there with him. I mean, that was
flag on the play, and again it's a late flag.
Still 3rd down.
You heard the ends of Johnny Greer's explanation.
And you see right there that Randall Cunningham was looking out to the right, came back to the left.
Yep. I never saw the flag. It must have been before the play started. Maybe they used too much time. They had to. I guess I didn't hear all of Johnny Greer's explanation.
Well, the game clock is 7:47.
What it was, Pat, it was a false start, so the whistle blew before the ball was snapped.
Right.
So the play never really did get started.
So they get another play now.
because they didn't have the other play. The other play never started. Let's this crowd now get into this.
And here's Cunningham. Pass is picked off. That's Antoine Edwards. And Edwards heads for the end zone. Touchdown. The Packers go ahead.
Well, we talked about that earlier. We said what Minnesota did here to Green Bay last year made the Packers go out and draft 1, 2, 3 defensive backs. One of those guys is Antoine Edwards, and you just watch him here. He's playing a zone.
Yep.
He comes back. He comes under. He reads Randall Cunningham, makes the interception, makes a pretty good run here.
Yes, he
Bumps
does.
a few guys.
Lost the
end
ball
zone before he finally fumbles it.
He almost fumbled it out in the field.
Then he didn't know what to do about that Lambeau leap either.
Longwell for the extra point, which is good, and it's 10-7 Green Bay. That'll wake up the Lambeau crowd. The Packers of Green Bay in the background, ahead 10-7. This is a phenomenal football atmosphere here. I mean, we came out here 3 hours before game time, and the cars were lined up. I didn't think we were going to get here on time.
And this is a Milwaukee crowd.
Yeah.
You know, the Packers have so many games. Remember, they used to play some of their games in Milwaukee and some here in Green Bay, and now they play them all in Green Bay, and then they designate so many games as Milwaukee games, and this game today is a Milwaukee game. But to me, Packer fans, and they enjoy their football. They enjoy it all day. I mean, they enjoy it, like you say, 3, 4, 5 hours before the game, 3, 4, 5 hours after the game.
Palmer and Williams back deep for Longwell's kick. The wind has subsided just a bit. This is David Palmer about the 6-yard line. Retreating, finds an opening. Palmer still on his feet, and finally chased down, a flag on the play. Chased down at about the 36 by Scott McGarrahan.
David Palmer ran for so long that there was a lot of opportunities to block in the back.
Illegal block in the back. Number 83 during the return.
Robert Tate, the guilty one. Green Bay leading 10-7. Packers 10, the Vikings 7.
You know, we know that. I'm sorry, but I was going to say we know that Antoine Edwards intercepted that pass and took it in for the end for the touchdown. But watch what Mike McKenzie does right here to Randy Moss. He's introduced himself. He said, a year ago, you were the top rookie. He said, I want you to meet me this year. That Mike McKenzie is a very, very impressive player and impressive guy.
That's one he'll remember. They fake a reverse, going to throw a screen, and they got it set pretty good. Leroy Horde upended out at about the 38-yard line. George Kuntz came over to make the hit.
And I'll tell you, the other guy that was there was Darren Sharper, and he wasn't too interested in that. There's no one. Once Leroy Horde gets rolling up that field, he is no fun to tackle.
A penalty against Minnesota.
The signal is for illegal man downfield.
Eligible receiver downfield. Number 64, offense.
Randall McDaniel
First down.
is called for the violation. They'll back it up to about the 15.
You know what happens is sometimes when those linemen, those offensive linemen, are going down the line as they start down. You see, as he starts coming down here, he's over the line. He drifts over.
Yep.
In fact, he came down a little too lazily.
Yep.
You know, I mean, he should snap that and then come right down the line.
He lays right out of our picture.
Yeah, I mean, he just kind of wandered up and then wandered down, but he was downfield. That was just poor concentration.
First and 15. The handoff is to Robert Smith, and he is taken down by Vonnie Holiday for a loss.
Vonnie Holiday's telling, not on this side. You're not going to do that over here. Here's Vonnie Holliday. I like the way he plays. He gets into Stussy like a tackle. See, helmet to helmet, gives him that shiver, and then comes right down the line and gets Robert Smith before he can get his shoulder square and get turned upfield.
Stussy never got to his body.
No, Vonnie Holliday gave him the hat to hat, and then the hands to push him away.
2nd and 18. Cunningham back to throw it. Scramble out and got it to Robert Smith, but the Packers were there in time. Stopped by Brian Williams. Leroy Horde shaken up, threw his helmet down. I think it's to his ankle or his knee.
Yeah, they're working on his right knee there. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, everyone plays this game, and you get the competitive juices going, and you're playing so hard, and then something happens. I mean, just injuries, to a team and to players are just devastating.
That's a key injury. Here's Cunningham back to throw again and going deep. And out of bounds and flags everywhere. Jake Reed, the intended receiver. The defensive back was Antoine Edwards.
Antoine Edwards was on him, and I think you can't bump him after 5 yards.
And they really got tangled up.
And I
Pass interference, number 24, defense, first down.
You're going to see Antoine Edwards is right here, and the first 5 yards you can bump, but he's doing what they call a bail technique. He's bailing out of the zone, then he's looking back, and he started to come under. He was looking at Randall Cunningham, and when Randall Cunningham threw, he started to stop, and he just ran right into Jake Reed. He knew where Randall Cunningham was, he knew where the ball was, but he didn't know where Jake Reed was.
That didn't seem to be very good technique. Here's Robert Smith again. And he'll knock down the ball, comes loose. The official said he was down. Bernardo Harris hit him.
Robert Smith is a fast running back. He doesn't look like he's running fast today, does he?
No, he doesn't.
Now, I will say this. He hasn't had a lot of holes, but he looks like he's just easily galloping out there. He doesn't look like he's pulled the cork.
He doesn't look like he's going to get too much more help from Leroy Horde either.
See, here's the way you want to play Randy Moss, because everyone is going to be physical with him.
Yeah.
I mean, run or pass or whatever, they're going to grab him and just try and put him on the ground and do those kinds of things.
I'm going to beat you lying down. Here's Smith again, and he gets a Viking first down. Mike McKenzie knocked him out of bounds.
Now here he gets a pretty good block on the onside, and then the thing that Robert Smith does well is bounce. He gets something, takes it in the hole, gets around, and then bounces out.
He got a pretty good block from a pulling center, and not many centers who can pull.
But this guy right here, Jeff Christie, just pulled on that play, and he is one of the best pulling centers that ever played.
There aren't many can do it. Here's Smith again. Mo Williams, I'm sorry, not Smith. Smith gets a breather.
This is one of the things when we talk to Denny Green that they want to run, and they haven't really run the ball well in the first 2 games. And he says, but you can't run if you don't have good results running.
Yeah.
And he said, so he's telling his runners and blockers, if you want to run, then when you run, make some yardage, so we'll call it again. But if you don't make any yards, then we have to get away from the run and go to the pass.
2nd and 2. Smith back in the game. And he's the runner, and he won't get the first down. He got very little.
He didn't get to the yellow line, did he?
Nope. And big Gilbert Brown.
I think I would start at Gilbert Brown and then go outside, because you're not gonna run where Gilbert Brown's space is.
He was out here yesterday after team pictures with his jersey out. It looked like a tent.
Oh yeah, I mean, heck, a family or two could use a big Gilbert's jersey. But
and stay dry.
Did you see what he did to Randall McDaniel though?
Yes, I did.
He just straightened him up and put him right in the backfield.
Nothing doing again. That's not a first down.
And again, Gilbert, and again, Randall McDaniel doesn't get any movement there. I would think that, again, not second guessing, but I guess I am. But you would have better, success with the pass or the bounce out or the outside run.
Now that yellow line that you can see is not official. It's close. but not official.
I'll take the yellow line on this one and say that they didn't make it, but Denny Green is going to have an interesting call here. You know, you're on the road. Do you punt it or do you go for it? The tendency is to really want to go for it. I've always believed in this kind of situation, I would always punt it.
I think I would too, but he's not going to.
No, he's not going to. Remember what happened? You know, the play that you would run here normally would be a quarterback sneak.
Or Leroy Horde.
And you remember what happened, and Leroy Horde is injured, and you remember what happened the last time you ran a quarterback sneak.
Timeout, Minnesota.
Remember Cunningham, I think, wants to go over and talk about this. Maybe they called quarterback sneak. He said, well, remember what happened last time? Let's talk about that one a little here.
Denny Green has done one heck of a job since he took over in Minnesota. In the playoffs almost every year. Been criticized from some corners, but has remained steadily in control. Leroy Horde, we're told, has an injured right knee and will be evaluated at halftime. And behind that mask and that massive jersey and massive body is Gilbert Brown.
You know, there was a story about, you know, that umpire Chad Brown, and there was a story that there was a play and he was talking to Gilbert Brown, and they were talking about a restaurant in L.A. Gilbert said, you know, give me some of that chicken. He said, well, I can't. You're in L.A. And he said, well, they have takeout? And he said, yeah, they have takeout. And Gilbert said, air freight me, baby.
Mo Williams is the deep back. He's close, but I don't know if he got it or not.
Well, again, it's the ball. It's where the football is. And the football, like, it has to get over the plane on the goal line. It has to get over an imaginable plane. Is that imaginable? Is that a word?
It is now.
Yeah. I mean, if you didn't, you have to draw a plane where a plane would be and say that the football has to get over that. See him reach out the football right there at the end? I think if he didn't have it before, he got it there.
That's when he broke the imaginable. First
Imaginary.
Jake Reed got the single coverage from Tyrone Williams, and Cunningham whipped it out. 2-minute warning coming up. And now we get the 2-minute warning. 10-7. Green Bay leading Minnesota. 2 minutes left in half number one at Lambeau Field in Green Bay, with the Packers leading Minnesota 10-7. Last year, Minnesota came in here and ended that streak. Randy Moss caught 5 passes for 190 yards, 3 touchdowns. They broke all kind of records. 2nd and 3. Cunningham fades, fell down. Getting away from the center, stayed down, got up, and fell down again. Right now, let's send you down to our sideline man, DJ Johnson.
Well, I'm here on the sideline with Packer Santana Dotson, who's sitting out after 114 straight games played. Now, you're sitting on the sideline, but what was the Packer plan for stopping the Vikings offense today?
Well, you know, everybody knows they're real talented, DJ, and our biggest thing is we're going to bleed a little bit, but we don't plan on dying. They're going to catch the ball some underneath. As long as we make the tackle and don't let them go getting into the end zone, I think we'll be all right.
Thanks a lot, Santana. Back to you, Pat and John.
All right. That must be like bend but don't break. Bleed but don't die. Here's Cunningham.
Gone.
Jake Reed open. Makes the catch at the Packer 25. Hooked up in the middle of that zone.
You know, this is the Santana Dotson is not playing today. He's not active. This is the first game he's missed. He had 114 straight games he's played. First game he's ever missed as a pro. And see what Jake Reed did there was just find a hole in the zone, sit down, and let Randall Cunningham throw it to you.
Coming up on the Visa halftime report, J.B. Terry, Howie, and Chris will have scores and highlights from around the league. Our Fox Sports ticker will have up to the second stats. That's all coming up on the Visa halftime report. I don't know what they have planned for halftime. They've still got Vince Lombardi on their hat.
Yeah, and they call him St. Vincent.
Yeah. 2nd and 10.
He was a great one.
caught in the slot by Andrew Glover, the big tight end.
You know, the Packers are playing a lot of a dime defense where they're playing, you know, we talked about those 3 rookie defensive backs that they have, and they're playing them all in this situation. And you can see right there, we see Fred Vincent, number 31. Yep. He's one of those guys. When he does that, Leroy Butler becomes a safety. You see here, they got 1, 2, 3, 4, and then they have 5, 6. So they have 6 defensive backs. Butler really being a linebacker. Mike McKenzie goes from playing the outside, the corner, and he goes inside and plays the slot. And then Antoine Edwards goes outside and plays the corner. But anyway, we said that earlier, that they drafted these 3 guys to stop the Minnesota Vikings, and they're playing all 3 of them at the same time quite a bit today.
And they're all 3 fine players.
You can see right there, they've used the dime defense so far 11 of the plays. And that's practically every passing situation, and they're playing it right now as a base defense.
3rd and 3. The Vikings have only 1 timeout remaining. Less than a minute left in the first half. Cunningham drops and throws. Incomplete. Intended for Jake Reed.
Well, Tyrone Williams over there has tightened up on that slant. Remember the first drive, they hit a couple of slants on him, and then he was a little loose. Now watch his position here. Instead of playing outside and trying to come in, he's playing inside, and he's taking that away a little quicker. Although, I don't know, a good pass still would have made it. It looked like Jake Reed didn't get his right hand up there.
From 34 yards away, Gary Anderson. He's 2 out of 6 this year. Last year he was perfect until the championship game. This one ties it. 10-10.
Denny Green knows, and they all talk about how this is going to be a fight and a war. You know, you talk to both coaches, and the first thing, you know, what's this game going to be like? Oh, anytime we come here, it's a fight, it's a war. It's this. And this first half has really been all of that.
For the latest NFL information right up to kickoff, make the Fox NFL Sunday pregame show your weekly pregame ritual. Join Terry, Howie, JB, and Chris for the most animated pregame show on television. Fox NFL Sunday, by the way, is live from Dallas next week, where we'll be at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. Always nice to see the boys on the road.
Yep, it is. It's nice to have them out there, be with them, be at the game, be in Dallas, see the Cowboys, Arizona. Jake Plummer, remember last year the Cowboys won every game in their division, including Arizona twice, and then Arizona beat them in the playoffs.
First time anybody's ever gone undefeated in the NFC East.
I wonder how Chris Carter is today, because he had the flu last night. When they got in, they said that Chris Carter had the flu. I know Randy Moss had the flu earlier in the week for the Vikings, and Chris Carter had it last night. And he doesn't have a lot of bounce in his step today. I mean, he doesn't look like the normal Chris Carter.
In the first drive, he looked good, but since then he looked like he was tired. I'm going to bring it out. That's Basil Mitchell to the 18.
I think this whole first half has been like the Minnesota Vikings season. I mean, they're still a good offense, and they're still doing all the time. And they run the ball, they throw the ball, they get it to the outside receivers. They haven't gotten it to their tight end, though, in this first half.
One time.
But they just, bog down and have a bad play here and there. They just don't have the consistency.
Now, the Packers have all 3 of their timeouts remaining. And with 48 seconds left, they've got some adequate time, 46 maybe.
And Brett Favre.
Yep. They might try to go to work. Flag on the play. Favre's got a free play.
It's a free one, and that's what he was trying for, too. And he knew that. He gave him a hard count, got them to jump, and then said, what the heck, I can try and force one in there, because even if it is intercepted, we'll get the ball back.
He used 4 seconds.
Watching him the other day practice on that, they say that he's taking more of a leadership role this year.
75 defense.
He also said he lost
first down
in the offseason 25 pounds. We got Joe Phillips.
And he was working on this hard count. Listen to it. You see what the hard count was? It was that hard set is what it was. He went there and then he goes, okay, ready, set! Yeah, and then that was the one that got big old Joe Phillips to jump offside.
Favre drops again. Look out. From behind, it's Chris Dolman. Just out of retirement.
That's Chris Dolman's first sack of this year for the Minnesota Vikings, and that just adds to a whole heck of a lot of sacks he's had. But here's Chris Dolman here going against Verba up the field. Then he goes back inside, and that's one thing about Brett Favre. He will scramble right, he will scramble left, but he will also scramble up the middle. Chris Dolman knows that. You get inside and boom, right down that line and cut him off.
Coming up on the Visa halftime report, JB, Terry, Howie, and Chris will have scores and highlights from around the league. And our Fox Sports ticker will have up to the second stats. That's all coming up on the Visa halftime report.
How about that St. Louis team? I mean, who would have thought 35-7 and against the Atlanta Falcons who were in the Super Bowl a year ago? You're talking about parity, you're talking about free agency and changing things.
How about Denver?
You also have to add injuries.
After today already, Denver and Atlanta both 0-3. They're in the Super Bowl last
year. You get for going to the Super Bowl. We'll teach you. Go to that Super Bowl.
Here's Favre. Favre is down. From the other side by Dwayne Clemens.
I think at some point right now the Packers are going to have to say, well, Dolman got us from one side, Dwayne Clemens got us from the other side, so maybe we just ought to say, you know, let's go in the locker room and just talk about it, because we don't have our pass protection down right now.
You know, John, I was talking to Dick Vermeil in the offseason. He said we got a new quarterback, and we're going to be pretty good.
But he wasn't talking about the quarterback.
He was talking about the quarterback now. And then after the quarterback got hurt, I talked to him again, and he said we're still going to be pretty good. And I didn't believe him then. But he's right. He's pretty good.
35-7.
So that's the end of the first half. With the score, Minnesota 10, Green Bay 10, halftime. Halftime at Lambeau Field is just about over. Tie score, Minnesota 10, Green Bay 10. And it's been pretty much what you would expect from an NFC Central Division rivalry. Any strange things happen as far as you're concerned?
Yeah, to me, it's still been a sparring match. The fight hasn't started yet. You know, both teams really haven't opened up. They've been a little cautious. You know, they've done some things that, you know, they would like to have back. They've had, you know, some stupid penalties and some of those things. I'm sure as a coach, you go in there and you say, look, okay, we have to go out there and start off to score 0-0. I mean, and start the game and just play our football, because I don't feel that the Minnesota Vikings have played Viking football, nor do I feel in this first half that the Packers have played Packer football.
Well, let's check out the first half statistics. No stats right now. We won't. We'll do it after the kickoff.
Well, you know, one thing that's big in those stats was the penalties, because remember that Green Bay, you know, stopped Minnesota in the goal line and had a penalty. And then Minnesota got a touchdown, and Green Bay scores a touchdown and had a penalty, and it was called back. So those were two big plays in the first half against the Packers.
Longwell kicks it off, and David Palmer will return it. And he comes flashing out of the pack up to about the 35-yard line, just outside. Todd McBride made the stop. Let's look at those first half stats we were talking about. Look at those penalties down at the bottom you were talking about.
Yeah, and you know, you look at the rushing yards, and you know, this is what I'm saying. I don't think they've started. I mean, that's nothing. Passing is really nothing. Turnovers, the Vikings had a turnover, but right here, 4 of those penalties against the Packers were really, you know, 2 touchdowns.
Right. First down, Minnesota at their own 35. 2 tight end setup. Cunningham takes it back to Smith. Let's swing it down to D.J. Johnson on the sideline.
Hey guys, I talked to both coaches at halftime, and they told their teams the complete opposite things. Coach Rhodes said that his team is not running very well, but their passing game is going good. Denny Green, the complete opposite. He's running well up the middle, but their passing game has disappeared. They need to get that passing game going. Both teams are happy with their effort. We'll see how it goes in the second half. Back up to the booth, Pat and John.
10-10 tie. David Palmer is the deep back. Cunningham trying to set up a screen.
I don't know. You know, DJ was just saying that Denny Green thought that he was doing well running up the middle. I don't necessarily agree with that. I think
don't agree with Ray
he was watching a different first half than I was, because looked like to me every time they tried to run up the middle, they were stuffed not only on that quarterback sneak, but also on the those Gilbert Brown plays. They couldn't get him blocked.
And I'm not sure I agree with what Ray Rivers said.
No. I think 10-10 they've both been in a sparring match.
On third down, Cunningham lays it outside to David Palmer. And the pass is complete for a Viking first down. By the yard over the mark.
And, over the years, we've seen David Palmer make so many big plays. And you can see Randy Moss here out on the right side. Now watch as we look at Randall Cunningham in the left. He's going to look out here to Moss. You see, he's looking out there, and then he's coming back to Palmer. I mean, he comes, once he sees that guy come up and hit Randy Moss, he goes right off him.
Smith into Packer territory. Tripped up by George Kuntz.
Maybe Denny Green meant that he wants to run more up the middle, because that is one thing that Minnesota really does want to do, because they know that they have the outside guys. But look, they ran 7 times left for 29 yards, 7 times up the middle for 15 yards, and once to the right for 7 yards. So they're averaging about 2 yards per carry up the middle.
2 tight ends set up this time. Cunningham fakes and throws up the middle. Incomplete. No flag. Chris Carter is really upset. Bernardo Harris ran into him.
Yeah, Bernardo Harris was just looking at Chris Carter. He's the middle linebacker. Chris Carter's out here in the corner now. As he comes in, you're going to see number 55, the middle linebacker, Bernardo Harris. He's saying that he interfered with him and didn't look for the ball. And he's right, but I don't know that he interfered with him. I don't know that he hit him. You see, you could do that if you don't hit him. Bernardo Harris just knew he's the middle linebacker. I got deep middle, and he was just running to deep middle, and he was going to take whatever happened to come in there.
3rd and 4. Moss comes in motion. Walks in motion. Outside. Not enough for a first down to Jake Reed. He hooked up too soon, and now they're going to mark it up close to first down yardage.
And
Tyrone Williams.
To me, that would be Jake Reed's fault, because when you get that 3rd and 3 or 4, you know how much you have to get. You see, now Tyrone Williams starts to come off, but he has to be able to see that right there, and he has to be able to get up beyond it. See, he stays about a yard short, and that's a pretty good tackle. That shouldn't be a first down.
It should not. Is absolutely correct.
Now, see, Jake Reed was wrong on that. I mean, he had that marker right there on his side, and he knows he has to get beyond that.
Well, the yellow line, again, as you can see, is not official.
Yeah, but again, I'll bet on the yellow line because he caught it short and was tackled by Tyrone Williams right there. That shouldn't be a first down.
It isn't a first down. And again, they'll have to face that choice of whether to go for it or not. That is our yellow line that we put in. It's almost exact, the reference for you, the viewers. And I think the Vikings will once again go for it.
They're going to go for it, but they aren't going to go for it with Leroy Hort. Remember, they tried a quarterback sneak. That didn't work. Last time, they got in the I formation over the top. Now it's an empty backfield. This either has to be a run or, a pass or a quarterback sneak.
But you don't go at Gilbert Brown. Long count, Cunningham, and he did go at Gilbert Brown and went right by him.
Yeah, that's what he was doing. See, he was reading that. He figured if he keeps all his guys in, it's a harder read. But by going an empty backfield, now he can look, and he's looking right here. This is where he sees the hole.
Yep.
So he's going to take the ball and then delay a little and then come right in that hole. See, he can read it, but they have an overload to this side, and he has a soft spot right there to his left.
And they doubled Gilbert.
And the key thing to that was the empty backfield, spread him out, and it was an easier read for him.
On first down, Cunningham throws to Carter, who makes the catch just outside the 15. Cunningham was hit as he let it go.
He was really unloaded. I mean, that's one thing. You know, Randall Cunningham will hang in there. I mean, he's gonna stand in that. Now the quarterback can't look at the rush. I mean, you can't look. You have to feel the rush coming, know what's coming from your backside. But look at his eyes. He's looking downfield at his receiver all the time. Now that is a tough act.
Billy Lyon is the man who hit him just as he let it go. 24-yard pickup. Cunningham to Carter's first down Vikings. Robert Smith inside the 5, fighting down to about the 3.
Watch this last play, Pat, with Chris Carter here. He's catching the ball and looking where he's going to go. That is an experienced receiver. When you don't even look the ball into your hands. You're so sure of your hand that you are already looking for the next thing you're going to do.
He's always had great hands. Leroy Horde back in the game, and he's the deep back for Minnesota.
This is where they like to run to Horde or throw to Carter.
3 tight ends. Horde. Nothing. The Packers come out of there with the ball, but it had been blown dead. Keith McKenzie is the man who came out with the ball, but you heard the whistles.
And when you only have one back in there, and that back is Leroy Horde, and you only have one receiver, you know that they're going to work on Carter, and everyone is going to key on Leroy Horde. You can hear the whistle here. Yeah. You see the whistle blew before Keith McKenzie pulled it out of there.
Second and goal. Smith into the backfield now. Moss split out wide to the right. They locked it in that direction, and Moss makes the catch, touchdown. He might have pushed a little bit and then out-jumped everybody. They're saying he was juggling, no good.
Oh, this will be one of those things that could be an instant replay. Although if they rule that he's juggling, then they can't do an instant replay out of it.
That's exactly right. Watch him push.
Well, they didn't call the push. What they said is that he didn't have control, that he was juggling when he went out of bounds.
Yes, he was.
But he never did have control of the ball.
Did have it. That's exactly right.
Now, again, the boundaries are reviewable. If the official said that he was juggling and didn't have control, that is not a reviewable play under instant replay.
If you have it between your legs, is that control?
Yeah, that is control.
Well, that's exactly what he had. And then it came out.
I think they're going to tell Denny Green that. You see right there, he doesn't have control there. He doesn't have control. I don't know. And then he goes out of the picture right there.
Well, we'll look again.
See, I thought that you couldn't challenge if they say that you were bobbling the ball going out.
He can jump, can't he?
He sure can.
Here goes Johnny Greer. And they've asked for another look. They have asked that it be replayed. There he goes.
But when the official says that he didn't have control, I thought that wasn't a reviewable play.
That's what we've been told. Now, he's got the headset on, but he hadn't looked inside the black box yet. The time doesn't start. They're saying now, I think, that this is not reviewable. They might be telling him that just now because he hadn't looked in for the replay yet. Well, now he's looking. Now the time is supposed to be no more than 90 seconds.
See right here, it says the player juggled ball.
Yep.
See, if they rule that the player juggled ball, this is not reviewable. Now they're reviewing it.
Yeah, but the call from the official closest was that he was juggling the ball.
That's what he said. So then that makes it non-reviewable. So they are in essence reviewing a non-reviewable play. Now at any point does he have control of the ball? Yeah.
Play on the field, stance is called. The player never had possession of the ball. Incomplete pass. That's a charge timeout, Minnesota.
They charge him a timeout. They did review the play. He never had control. And Denny Green is not happy.
Yeah, he's clapping.
Let's keep going.
It was a shot. I mean, I don't think he should have even had a shot at that, but they did get one. He got a reviewable play that shouldn't have been reviewed, but it didn't help him anyway.
Cunningham moves Leroy Horde. This is Carter in motion. And Cunningham back to throw and lost it again to Moss. And again, he had one hand on it and lost it. That one won't be reviewed. He never had it.
But that's not a bad weapon. I mean, at least they're attacking down here. I mean, I think when you have a guy like Randy Moss, I think that's what you have to do. And Randy Moss, just got that hand. He's bringing it in and didn't come down with it.
Came down with air. So Gary Anderson with Berger holding.
But they took two shots down there that kind of reminded you of the Minnesota Vikings of last year. They only lost one game all year.
This will be from 22 yards out. He's had a couple blocked already this year, but this one's good. And the Vikings recapture the lead, 13-10, with 9:17 left in the third. Next week, the Fox NFL Sunday pregame show will be live from Dallas, Texas Stadium for a battle in the NFC East as the Arizona Cardinals clash with the Dallas Cowboys. Plus other regional action. It all starts at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific right here on Fox. Check your local listings. 1st and 10, Green Bay. Favre to Dorsey Levens. And Levens gets about 3. They haven't been able to run much.
No, they don't have a first down running today. Dorsey Levens has carried the ball 8 times for 11 yards. So that is not getting the job done in the running game. And part of that goes back to the Packer offensive line, and then you give credit to the Minnesota Viking defensive line and linebackers. They kind of controlled that run in there.
Averaging about 2 yards a carry. Favre drops. Incomplete, intended for Schrader. And he's begging.
Well, they all do. I mean, that's getting to be, football now, and I really don't like that part of it, that every time a guy throws the ball downfield, then they all jump up and want pass interference. I'll tell you, Brett Favre took a hit on that time. That was Dwayne Clemens coming, and he hit him right upside the ear hole. But I don't like that. I mean, the football is just throw it down there and hope for pass interference. Get a completion, run the ball, block, tackle, do those kinds of things.
But it's come to that in a lot of cases.
Bacon's bad.
By the way, congratulations to Antonio Freeman, and congratulations to our Ryder Cup team as well, as they came from behind to win it for the United States.
Now watch what Antonio Freeman's doing. You see, he sees a zone defense here. You see, and then he's just going to come right under the middle and get right in that hole. See, the secondary, they all get off, and you have a hole in front of them, and you have a hole between them. And he hit the hole between them.
Levin hit the hole quick and bangs for his longest game from scrimmage of the day.
Still didn't bang to that yellow line. One thing we said before the game, that the Minnesota Vikings wanted to go after Brett Favre up the middle and just put pressure on him, just knock him down. I mean, just every play, just every time he goes back, someone knock him down. And that's exactly what they're doing. Look at the pressure on him. I mean, they are going after him the whole game. I mean, that's a way to stop the Green Bay Packers.
Levin gets the first down. Well disguised by the Packers and Favre and Levin. Jimmy Hitchcock tripped him up.
You know, we said that Dorsey Levens does get stronger as the game goes on, and you would hope so. His first 2 quarters haven't been much, but watching his 3+ years here, you know, he goes from 140 yards in the first 125, 159, 188 more yards, 4.6 average, and 8 touchdowns in fourth quarter and overtime.
That's Levens in motion. Fake to Henderson. Favre gets it to William Henderson. And Henderson stumbles across midfield into Viking territory. John Randall, the ever active, still being doubled.
Well, they're going to double him all the time. I mean, because the Vikings don't have enough other defensive linemen that can really get off a double, you know, or beat a single. So they're just going to always frustrate John Randall. You know, have the center block from there, have the guard block him, and then sometimes they'll even bring a third guy on John Randall, have the back come in and hit him after those 2 guys have hit him.
Changing the play. And drops to throw. Chase. High. Almost intercepted.
And that was John Randall there that really made him throw that when he didn't want to. We're talking about not having Mark Chmura, and you see so far he's thrown 10 times to his wide receivers. He's only thrown 1 time to his tight end, and he's thrown 6 times to his running back. So, you know, he has to get used to the tight ends of Tyrone Davis and Jeff Thomason and get them back into the passing game.
3rd and 4 and a big third down. 2 tight ends set up to the right. Favre drops to throw. Gets it across the middle. Antonio Freeman down to the Viking 35, stopped by Robert Griffith.
Yeah, that's the 3rd ball that Antonio Freeman has caught. We're talking about guys that have to get into the game, and I think Antonio Freeman is the guy. You know, that they were, you know, kind of stayed away from him. But if you're going to have a go-to guy and a go-to guy that can get yardage and pick up first downs, it's going to be Antonio Freeman.
He's a pretty good one.
Oh, they're paying him a heck of a lot of money.
Yeah, they are. 3 wide receivers set up for Favre in Green Bay this time, and he drops to throw. Touchdown's not bad, wide open. Here's Corey Bradford. And Bradford.
And see what the Packers are doing now is they're running 2 or 3 wide receivers deep, and then they're running a 1 underneath. And you can see here Brett Favre is looking. He's looking to his left, and then he comes back to Corey Bradford, who's his underneath guy. He had 3 guys running deep, 3 receivers running deep. That cleared everything out. Corey Bradford was the guy coming underneath.
What a good shot that was.
And Brett Favre helped that by looking deep.
Gets the first down, gets across the 25, and the Vikings continue to try to push him back. The crowd a little excited about the extracurricular push by Minnesota.
You see Brett Favre after he hands off the ball. I mean, he does this more than any quarterback, and in fact, for a long time, quarterbacks didn't do that, where he'd hand the ball off and then he'll fake a jump shot, he'll fake a basketball hook shot.
First down, Green Bay, 2 tight ends. Levens on the toss back. The old counter toss out of bounds at about the 17-yard line.
There's
Orlando Thomas.
There's that play that Oakland hurt Minnesota with, and then hurt Green Bay with, and then Green Bay copied him. What you do is you bang your fullback into this side, and you just flip out here, and you key off this guy. You don't even block him. You just let him go and let the back run around him. Now, this is an option type of thing. See, bang in there, just let this guy go, and the back just runs right around him. Now, that is getting to be the biggest weak side running play in football today.
Well, for a long time, they didn't have a weak side run.
Not any weak side outside.
That's right. Favre had it to Henderson, and he dropped it. This drive has taken over 6 minutes. And the punter, Louis Aguilar, during the drive is practicing tricks that he'll never use.
Well, he knows. You see, the punter, when you get by the 30-yard line, then he's not going to punt anymore. So he's not worried about punting anymore. You know, he worries about punting when you're the other side of midfield and the closer you get. Now the field goal kicker is the guy that starts thinking on this down.
3rd and 4. Incomplete and no flag. Intended for Schrader.
And the field goal kicker comes running in
to try to tie it.
One time I had a coach, Pat, that used to start calling for the field goal team on 2nd down. And I got so mad at him, I said, look, never call for the field goal team because you're assuming we're not going to get the 1st down. So then we had a rule, we never called for the field goal team. You know, we would just let them watch, and when it got to be 4th down, I'd say field goal, they'd all run in there.
The field goal kicker, believes me, knows when his time has come.
Yeah, and the field goal team should too. We want confidence your offense is going to get a 1st down.
Longwell is good. And again, from 35 yards, the score is tied 13 apiece. Green Bay has the ball, their own 25, 2nd and about 5. Score tied at 13.
2nd and 5.
They need 5 for a 1st. Barr hands off to Dorsey Levens. He gets a couple. We'll bring up 3rd and about 3.
He's not close to that yellow line, and that's going to bring up a passing situation. Now, you know, 2nd down, that was a good down to run or pass, and it's a good area for play pass. When you get to be 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3 in this league, this is not a running down. Sherm Lewis, the offensive coordinator for the Green Bay Packers, is now calling the plays.
3 wide receivers. Tyrone Davis in motion. Barr chased out of the pocket. Now he can buy some time like this, and he's going to get a 1st down and more. And hammered out of bounds. He's hoping a flag would be flown on Jimmy Hitchcock, but there is no flag.
Yeah, Favre's a talker too, and you could just hear as Favre was running, you could hear this whole crowd holding their collective breaths. That no one got to Favre before he got out of bounds, and Favre knows because he's such a competitor. He's such a tough guy that he knows he doesn't care what the heck's going to happen. He right now has made a point here. He's going to get a 1st down. Now he has a 1st down, and they're saying, if the fans are, Favre is, that he was out of bounds when he took that hit.
It was close.
Yeah, I think you have to let him do that.
I think he had the right call.
Yeah, you can't pull him.
The draw play to Levens, who fights his way back to the line of scrimmage and picked up a couple.
I think one thing that you can see that the Vikings are really ganging up on 1st down run. And, you know, that some 1st down pass would be pretty good here for the Packers. That's Dwayne Clemens.
And the Vikings, the wear and tear of this contest, which has been pretty rugged for right from the beginning.
It's a highly intensive game.
Beginning to show.
Yeah. I mean, they've played. You know, it hasn't been a air-proof or a real, you know, picture game, but it's been a hard-fought game from both sides.
We're tied at 13. 13-13 tie. 13:41 left to play. They need 7. Favre needs time. Shovels it up to Dorsey Levens, incomplete.
You know what they're doing is they're bringing pressure from Favre's left side, and they're just overloading it. That time they had Chris Doleman there, and they have a stunt and a blitz, and they have everything going. You see here they just overload. He's going to come in, then they get the blitz coming, and they try and get everything right on those 2 blockers. You see they get an inside, they get a blitzer, going to eventually get a free guy and make Favre come out and get rid of the ball before he wants to.
Dwayne Clemens back in to the rush front. And Favre drops the throw. Gets it outside to Schrader. And he didn't come close to 1st down yardage. Taken down by Ramos McDonald.
That's one of those things where, you know, he throws short of the 1st down, and you have so many guys downfield, but this is tough to throw it short, and then you assume that the guy is going to run with the ball and get a first down. But the defensive backs in this league are such good tacklers that once you catch the ball, you're going to go down right about where you caught it, unless you have a big cushion.
Louis Aguilar.
This is only his second punt today.
Signal fair catch, and the Vikings take over at their own 21. 12:38 left to play, and a 13-13 tie.
There's Ron Wolf, the architect of this Green Bay Packer team, the guy that put it all together. The guy next to him is Ken Herock. Ken Herock played for me with the Oakland Raiders and was a scout with us and worked with Ron Wolf all those years. And he is one of the real brains in this league, Ron Wolf.
Ron Wolf, yeah, he really is. A history expert, among other things. Favre drops to throw it. Ball throw. And it's incomplete, intended for Bradford, who got one hand on it.
Well, that was the pattern that they've had success throughout this game, where they put everyone else deep and then run one of the wide receivers under. They've done it to Corey Bradford before. They did it to Schrader earlier. They did it a couple times to Antonio Freeman. And I think the Minnesota Vikings feel now that when you see that underneath thing, we got to jump it. We can't play that as passively as we have.
Clock stop with 4 minutes 32 seconds left.
And now the Packers have to throw for enough distance for a first down.
They need 7. He has to have some time, too, and he tried to throw the screen pass, but he was rushed and hurried. Intended for Levens, who didn't have a chance to turn around. Well, here comes the field goal unit.
Yep, we talked about Ron Wolf and the Green Bay side. And there's Red McCombs, the owner of the Minnesota Vikings. I'm a little surprised at that last call, a screen pass.
Yep.
I mean, I know that Dorsey Levens had success earlier with a screen pass, but you would think that you would, throw something around 7-8 yards up there and, pick up a first down or try that.
Longwell from 34 yards out. He's hit 2. He's hit 3. The Packers take the lead 16-13. Ray Rhodes.
And now they have to go to their defense. And now, it's so strange, isn't it, Pat, to come here to Green Bay, which is, if they ever had a shrine to pro football, to me, it should
This
be
is
Green
it.
Bay and here. But to come here and not see a Reggie White or a Fritz Shermer, that it was always, you would get, now you need the Packer defense, and can they block Reggie in this situation? What's Fritz going to call?
Yep.
And, of course, Fritz Shermer passed away with cancer in the offseason, and I mean, that was a loss to, obviously, his family. And,
what a good man.
And to, them, the fans here, and to all the people in professional football, because Fritz Shermer was a football coach.
He wrote books.
Yep, and he gave all his life
to
football.
That scoring drive, 13 plays, 64 yards. They kept the ball 5 minutes, 47 seconds. Minnesota has 2 timeouts left. Remember, they lost a timeout when they questioned that call, Randy Moss in the end zone. A play that should not, in our opinion at least, have been reviewed.
Yeah, it shouldn't have been reviewed, so then they should never have had the timeout charged.
Ball bounces into the end zone. David Palmer downs it. For the latest NFL information right up to kickoff next week, make the Fox NFL Sunday pregame show your weekly pregame ritual. Join Terry Bradshaw, of course, Howie Long, of course, JB, Chris, for the most animated pregame show on television. Fox NFL Sunday is live from Dallas next week at noon Eastern Time.
Those things that they have there, those are called claymations. And those guys each have their own claymation.
Well, so do you.
No, I know it, but I don't carry mine around. They carry theirs around. They take them with them. So they can either be them or they can be their claymation. So you don't know what you're going to see in Dallas next week.
I hope I don't run into a claymation.
Not too many claymations you want to run into.
Cunningham, and the screen pass is complete. A good call on first down, but a great play by Robert Smith, who made the catch, and Mike McKenzie up to make the stop. That was worth the draft choice right there.
Yeah, I mean, he is, the last year Randy Moss was kind of the fresh guy that came in the league and bright-eyed guy and loved to play. And this year, Mike McKenzie is that type of guy. I mean, this guy was a third guy pick, and believe me, he has a chance to be Rookie of the Year this year.
Second and long. Cunningham drops and throws, and the pass is complete. And off to the races is Jake Reed, chased. Jake Reed all the way down to the Packer 25, finally caught by Fred Vinson. One of those 3 draft choices.
Yep, and they got the other one first. The other one, Edwards, and you're going to see Edwards here, and they start in the slant right here, and he comes up and he misses a tackle. So that was, you talk about, here's the second rookie who's going to make the play. The first one that gave him that play was Antoine Edwards.
50 yards from Cunningham to Jake Reed. Longest play of the year for Minnesota as they move to the Packer 28-yard line. Jake Reed.
That put Minnesota very, very quickly into field goal range.
Yes. 3.5 minutes left. Cunningham gives to Smith. Robert Smith still running down close to the 20. Tripped up finally by Leroy Butler.
You know, those rookie defensive backs for the Packers have been doing so well, but Jake Reed got him on the play before that. Here, good run by Robert Smith. He lets Stussy get his block, and then he cuts off the block before Leroy Butler finally takes him down. Now, Randy Moss has to do a better job than that. I mean, if they're going to run and you're going to be trying to get touchdowns and win a game, everyone has to block.
Second down, about 3. Cunningham hands again to Smith, and Smith breaks inside the 10 to about the 9.5-yard line. Green Bay leads at 16-13. For those of you who just joined us, we have 2.5 minutes left to play at Lambeau Field. Randy Moss has only caught 1 pass, gained 3 yards. Green Bay only 1 touchdown scored, that by the defensive unit on the interception return. Minnesota down in deep in Green Bay territory now. The clock running at 2:10.
Yeah,
left.
Minnesota wants to take some time off the clock now and take it down to 2 minutes.
So they're just standing around over on the sideline.
You look there, and that's how they scored their first touchdown.
At Lambeau, it's 16-13 Green Bay, but Minnesota at the Green Bay 10 with 2 timeouts left.
This is a dilemma. I mean, you always want to score, but with a Brett Favre quarterback team, you don't want to score too soon, but you can't let that do anything to you.
Cunningham trying to score and does to Randy Moss. And that gives Green Bay 1 minute and 56 seconds when they get the ball back.
We were talking about Randy Moss was frustrated. He was frustrated, but it didn't let him keep from stopping doing that. It was eventually, I mean, you just keep going all day. He only catches 1 ball. He only catches 1 ball. And then you need a touchdown. You're behind by 3. And just watch him. Here he's in the slot. He gets by Darren Sharper. He gets inside right there and just settles down.
Yep.
The Packers were running the zone, and he just got inside and settled down. And Randall Cunningham hit him.
Extra point is good by Anderson. And it's the Vikings 20. Green Bay needs a touchdown.
And that's going to be a lesson. That's going to be a lesson for Randy Moss, Randy Moss's fans, and it's going to be a lesson for the Packers that even though he's down, he looks like he's frustrated. You know, you can't let up on him. I mean, the guy is one of the best players in football, and he looked like he was ready to let up on himself or give up on himself there for a while. But I mean, it's just a message here that no matter what happens in this game, you just have to hang in there.
Minnesota 5 plays. They went 80 yards in just 5 plays. Kept the ball 2 minutes and 29 seconds. They left Green Bay with almost 2 minutes on the clock.
And that's the thing. But they had to do what they did. I mean, that was what I said. It's a dilemma, but it really isn't. I mean, if you got a touchdown, boom, you take the touchdown and go ahead. And then they all remember now. Remember what Brett Favre did just a couple weeks ago against the Oakland Raiders.
And almost did again last week. against Detroit.
And anytime you're playing the Green Bay Packers and Brett Favre, you're never out of it. And look at this crowd here, Pat. There's no one that's left.
No one.
In fact, maybe some came in.
Yeah, maybe so. Green Bay with 2 timeouts remaining. Berger to kick it off. Desmond Howard, Mitchell deep. Howard to the 23. He has not been the weapon, Desmond Howard, that he was a couple of years ago.
See, and the reason the clock stops right now is that's change of possession, so that's an automatic timeout. And like you said, that the Packers have 2 timeouts, but really with that kickoff they pick up a third. So they got that one there on change of possession. And now for this drive they have 2 timeouts. And now down by 4, you know, we're talking touchdown. We're not talking about field goal or field goal range or any of those things.
We're talking
they have to get end zone.
We're talking where it says Packers in that other end zone.
That's where they have to get.
3 wide receivers. The offensive line faces a big challenge here as well. Favre standing in the pocket. Chased by Randall. Throws deep. Complete. Corey Bradford came up with it.
I don't care. No one else in football can make that play but Brett Favre. They said he doesn't throw as well when he runs to his left. He got flushed to his left, spun, and put that thing in the middle. That was a great play.
First down, Green Bay. Clock running.
Brett Favre, of course, is going no huddle here. Everything is done out of audible.
Didn't spike it. Drops it off to Levens, and Levens takes his feet. He stays on his feet to the 45. I don't know how he struggled for a first down.
Do you know how Brett Favre got rid of the ball?
Yeah, I saw that.
Well, you said he goes out. I mean, he can throw this thing out at any angle. Look here, he starts to run, and he just flips that out there. But he's always aware. I mean, he knows where everyone is.
This is something he learned at Kill, Mississippi.
Well, this was one thing Uncle Rube always told me. When the guy gets close, you put your arms around the ball, and then you run right out of it. That gives you the power to run out of it.
They use the timeout. Let's go down to D.J. Johnson.
As you guys saw on that last touchdown, Randy Moss made an effort to come over here and put the ball up in the stands. Right here we have Sam Singleton and Dante DiTrapio. Sam was Randy's coach in Midget League. How do you think Randy's doing in the NFL?
I think he's doing great. I think he's great. I think he's the best in the West.
Best in the West? Or best in the world?
Best in the world.
Best in the world, huh? You brought him up. You taught him everything you know?
I tried to. But a lot of it is on him. A lot of it is on him.
All right, back to you, Pat and John.
First and 10, Green Bay. Favre again drops. Favre has time. 11. To the 30 and out of bounds.
Boy, you said earlier, Pat, that the offensive line has to do its job, and they really did their job on this play. You know, we talk about a pocket and giving a quarterback time. If we can just stop it here and just see the pocket, and you run him by, and there is a pocket that Brett Favre has to throw in, and if he has a pocket like that, he'll do surgery on you.
The Packers down to 1 timeout. The clock running with just over 1 minute left.
And that's plenty of time.
Favre. Caught by Bradford again.
They're saying no, Pat.
They're saying no catch?
Yep, they're saying no catch.
That'll bring up second down. He thought he had it. So did the crowd think he had it. So did I think he had it.
He drilled that thing in. Watch, Bradford is going to come up, then he's going to come into the inside. And Favre just hits him perfectly. Now he has to come down and have control of it with both hands. You see, he has to come down with both feet have to hit the ground, and he has to have control of the ball. You can see as he came down there, the ball bounced out. So the ground can't cause a fumble, but he didn't have control of it.
On second down, Favre. Bill Schrader. That brings up third.
Yeah, and he can't spike it here either. Because if he'd spike it here, he'd use up third down.
Right. Line him up in a hurry.
No, he's going to take a timeout.
Today's game being produced by Bob Stinner and directed by Sandy Grossman. The associate director is Mike Roy. Broadcast associates are Charles McDonald and Mike Mata. Technical producer is Bob Mueller. Pre-game show is produced by Scott Ackerson, directed by Bob Levy. The senior producer is Bill Brown. The executive producers of Fox Sports are Ed Gorin and David Hill.
This is kind of the way you want a game to end up. I mean, two teams that are two of the best teams in all football. And, you know, the team that loses this game is going to be buried, and they shouldn't be. And the team that wins it is probably going to be made the favorite for the Super Bowl. And neither one of those things should be true. But these are two teams that are really fighting out every play of this game.
The team that wins it's going to be tied for the lead in the NFC Central for a week at least. And here's Favre. Outside 11. And he couldn't get out of bounds. Can't stop the clock.
And can't get a first down.
So they got to hurry. Hitchcock.
If he could have gotten a first down, then they could have spiked it. But because they didn't get a first down, he can't spike it because it's fourth down. He should have thrown that ball beyond the first down mark.
And they got to hurry now.
And he can't spike it. He needs a first down.
He knows that. Touchdown Green Bay.
Unbelievable.
To Bradford. We got to look at how he got that open and how far it hit him.
And it had to be an audible because they didn't have any timeout. It was fourth down. He had to call the play on the line of scrimmage. You can just see Bradford right there. He just runs right by him.
Right by Hitchcock. And right into the stand.
I think Jimmy Hitchcock was waiting for a shorter pattern. I think Jimmy Hitchcock was playing something shorter, and he was trying to get underneath of Bradford.
Well, if you look again, Favre pump fake to the right, and that might have slowed him down.
And that's the thing Jimmy Hitchcock would bite on. Only Brett Favre could do that. I don't care what you say.
Watch this. Watch him pump fake. There it is.
There's the pump fake to the right. And then he comes back, and I think Jimmy Hitchcock was trying to undercut that, trying to run underneath it, thinking it was going to be a shorter pattern, and Brett Favre just threw it perfectly right over him to Corey Bradford.
Green Bay 23-20 over Minnesota.
And that's Favre down.
Exhausted.
I remember the Oakland game. Whew.
He has every right to be exhausted. He was so aware of what was going on. As you pointed out, he couldn't spike it. He had to run a play. They had to get a first down or a touchdown, which they got. 6 out of 7 for 77 yards in that drive. And 12 seconds are left.
We know that the offense reacts, but how about the defense?
Well, they got to play some more. John Randall.
Well, you talk about a swing of emotions.
Wow. This is Brett Favre's 22nd 300-yard passing performance, his second already this year. And he's doing it all with a bad hand.
And he just totally spent himself.
He's getting oxygen on the sideline. He's okay, I think. But how can I say he was okay? They're giving him oxygen, holy towel.
Yeah, I mean, he's given everything he has.
Mo Williams. And the clock will run out. And he goes out of bounds with 6 seconds to go, and the Vikings will have one play. And perhaps the most dangerous weapon in football in Randy Moss.
And you have to remember, one of the rules is that the game cannot end on a defensive penalty.
Right? So throw it up high and hope for a flag or hope somebody gets loose.
Yeah, because you're not going to get 2 plays. I mean, it's not one of those things that you can hope to get the ball and then get out of bounds. You're not going to get 2 plays.
The Packers will rush 3. And the crowd is There's just as many people here as there were when the game started. It's sold out, and the sellout has lasted a long time. Randall Cunningham.
And as we said, Pat, not one person is left, and I think some have come in.
Cunningham going deep. Bouncing around is the ball, and the Packers come down with it. The interception by Antoine Edwards, and Brett Favre is sitting up on the sideline, but he is flat exhausted.
I think he's more than exhausted. I mean, Randall Cunningham did what he had to do. He moved his team down and got that score. I mentioned that maybe, the dilemma is you don't want to score too soon. They did, but Randall Cunningham and the Vikings did what they had to offensively.
They got the touchdown quick.
It was just that they were up against Brett Favre.
But how do you do? What do you do? You want to get ahead on the scoreboard. You don't want to give Favre a chance, but you got to get the touchdown. And a chance is all he needs.
He's a real warrior.
Let's go down to DJ Johnson.
Great touchdown into the game. How's it feel to end a Packer-Viking game like that?
Feel great. This is my dream come true. Plus, we had to get them back for what they did to us last year when we came here.
Is this sort of redemption for you guys?
Yeah, feel great.
How'd it feel when Randy Moss scored that last touchdown? Did you guys think it was over?
We didn't really think it was over because, Brett is the comeback king. So as long as, he had a chance to score, we know we was going to score.
What did you see the cornerback do? What did you see the cornerback do to make you know you can get by him?
As soon as I started, he jumped to the outside. I just, adjusted and just ran a seam hole.
Okay, thanks and congratulations. All right, back to you, Pat and John.
All right, DJ, and we'll be right back in a moment. Brett Favre headed for the locker room.